Although weeping lasted all night, I know that joy comes in the morning light. So I'll march on to a new song, 'cause I've been marching to that old one way too long. And I gotta move on and take new steps every day, 'cause I know there has got to be another way. And I'm brighter day, so I march on.
Everybody, and welcome to Pure Live. I'm so glad that you decided to join with me again today before our little holiday break. Today is going to be a little different. I'm going to be interviewed today by Dr. Margaret Jamal, and we will get more into that after we deal with our sponsors.
In a recent service, Pastor Dan asked if anyone felt disconnected, not apart, all by yourself, alone, or on your own. Realizing that every day, too many people in our community and even in our churches feel disconnected. In our CFC Life Group, we want to let people know that they belong. That's the most important reasons that we have life groups. And now we've added an online community access. With social media fellowship, we consider that connecting people can be messy. Sometimes we have real challenges such as schedule conflicts, transportation and mobility issues, as well as just feeling too tired to travel. We purposefully schedule our life group sessions to explore life application of the message with a discussion among friends. This online life group is hosted by Drs. Aaron and Margaret Jamal, who truly enjoy exploring life in God's Word. So we invite you to belong. Join the newly launched CFC Online Life Group today.
All right, y'all know what to do. Join the life group today. And we have Posh Women's Apparel, who you all know is responsible for a lot of my wardrobe for the show. Here's some of the clothes that she has. And if you would like to dress like me, fly, so fresh and so clean, poshwomensapparel.com, www.poshwomensapparel.com. All right, people, we are going to get into it. I'm now going to bring in my special guest host, Dr. Jamal.
Hello, good evening, and welcome everybody. Yes, I am Dr. Margaret Jamal, and I am the guest host today. I have the honor of actually interviewing Asia Jamal Rodgers. As you can see, we have that name in common because I am her mother. Today we're going to do something very special. We're going to learn more about Asia's story of actually a journey where tragedy was blossomed into triumph. It was a hard and difficult road. It's paved with pain. And at the same time, there is testimony of overcoming. And all of this actually led up to the program that you see today. Asia was brave enough, I would say, to be able to share her story in a way that has been liberating to a number of people. She was featured in our A Time to Tell radio spot, where she helped co-host along with her sister, myself, and a cousin, all who have experienced abuse of some type. Asia is going to share today something that is unique, although it's widespread, and that is revictimization from sexual abuse. And the reason that she chose to share it is because there's so many people that are living in shame, living in darkness, afraid of even talking about it. They're finding themselves experiencing chronic illnesses, strange behaviors that they really can't explain, having trouble in relationships, with holding down employment. And Asia hopes that through her testimony, through getting people to even have this conversation, that maybe in the future it can actually become a means of having bills written so that resources will be made available to people who have suffered and continue to suffer as a result of revictimization from sexual abuse. So we're going to take this journey. And Asia, thank you so much for being brave enough to do this. And
Thank you for hosting.
yes. Asia, there's so many people. You had talked about this being a holiday season, and people want to be
Right.
happy and joyous and have engagements with their families. But we know that sexual abuse often happens at the hands of people that you know, that you're familiar with, that you may celebrate with. You
Right.
might go out for drinks, or you might meet up and try to have fun. And at the same time, when you've experienced sexual abuse, especially from a young, tender age, and then later on in your adult years, have you found that it has challenged you in your relationships, in your ability to even relate with others?
Mhm. Absolutely. I've had a complete lack of um, and extremely cautious and not knowing exactly what's happened, not trusting that I'll be treated right. Um, I, um, it's been very difficult for me to just open up. I have nightmares and things of that nature. So it's been really challenging. I've only had one healthy relationship in my adulthood, and that's the one I'm in now.
Yes, yeah, and I know you're grateful for the fact that you even have that healthy relationship now. Well, we
Absolutely.
we get well, we're gonna uncover this. Let's do it a little bit, layer by layer. And for those of you who have children, or who have loved ones, do you know that according to the statistics, and they go back and forth, they're saying one out of every five, they say 4 to 5 girls have been sexually assaulted. And that if their sexual assault begins at an early age, they're almost 50% likely to be re victimized by someone else, not even necessarily the same person. And this happened, it began at an early age, Asia, with someone that we trusted. And
Right.
there, you were featured recently in a program called Groomed. And in that program, you actually shared with people how this adult person was grooming you and getting you to the point where you did not even trust your family to share what was going on or what had happened to you. How did this
Mm.
trusted person even approach you in the first place? And share with them the age as well.
I was 14 when I met this person, and 27. And what happened was we were actually singing at their church. And after that, I felt like he groomed more than just me, because he used my father to get close. Um,
How
and when he
so?
would show up in more events, What he did was he tell him, I'd like to have some piano lessons. I'd like to be involved with this, or I'd like to be involved with that. And my dad is how do I put it? He's one that's more than happy to share his knowledge. Um, so that's what he used to get close to me, and I didn't know that's what he was trying to do. And then, I was very involved in the church. I had a dance group that I was doing choreography for, and we shared choreography. The head of the group, and he had the group, and that was his because that made it so that he was there.
Okay,
that's how he got close.
Okay, and I do apologize, and I'm not exactly sure about the little technical difficulties. Hopefully, everything will work out a little better because this is very important. And if you'll just stay with us, everybody, we want to get this message out. And if we have to do it over, if we have to do a redo, we'll do it again. But the thing is, as you had indicated, this man worked his way into your family, making it seem as though he was interested in the youth group. Now, some people thought that his interest in you was a little just too intimate anyway, but that was brushed aside, and you even challenged it. Now, what made you defend him, if you recall?
Well, the truth of the matter is, I did not see evil in people. Those people had, they had good intentions. So I did not see any. I was not exposed to that culture. So I didn't really know what to pay attention to. So everything he said, I didn't have reason not to believe him.
Okay. And also, didn't he have a daughter? Was she a part of the relationship as well?
He had a daughter, and they were a big part of it because he would have me watch. I didn't get uncomfortable about it until his daughter said something about me being her mother. It made me uncomfortable, but I felt like it was just.
Okay, and I really, we didn't get that last part. You felt like it was what now?
Oh, I felt like it was her trying to get close to me. I didn't think it was his.
Okay.
In regards to why she was calling me her mother.
Okay. Now let's just go back and the first time, because with my understanding, this particular person assaulted you more than once. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. But you didn't see it as an assault. What do you think? So he was grooming you and he was trying to treat you nice and everything. This 27-year-old man, you're 14 years old. How were you, how did it happen that you were alone with him and that he was able to have his way with you?
Well, the fun happened because he was coming to the dance rehearsals. The dance rehearsal. However, he was bringing his sister, so that's how he was there. And get the music. It wasn't in front of everybody. The day he followed me and got me.
Okay, so the
I would not say it.
go ahead.
I would say I wouldn't. I would not say that I didn't think he assaulted me. I just didn't understand what to do about it.
Okay. Okay.
I knew it was
Now,
wrong.
okay. You know it was wrong, but at the same time, as we as much as we can remember, his grooming made you think that he was in love with you. Is that
Correct.
is that what you remember?
That's what
Okay.
I remember. He told me that God brought us together and that the age was significant because he wasn't quite 13 years old. And he's saying the number 12 was biblical. He
The
would
number
use Bible. Right. He would use different examples in the Bible to say, um, that this is not something that's abnormal. Listed it and made it abnormal, but the Bible shows that younger women were with older men, so it was fine.
So that's one of the ways that often people in the church, especially women in the church, end up being abused because there's this authority figure, someone that you respect. He was not a bad looking gentleman. He was attractive to the younger girls, period. They had their little crushes on him. But he was a predator, nonetheless. And he was
Correct.
using scripture and using the church as his pickup place. Is that correct?
Correct.
Also, there appeared to be that he was driving some distance between you and your family because you, at that time, felt that you couldn't come forth and explain it to your family. In fact, as I remember, you even challenged us and not saying for you not to be around him. Now, what was happening with that?
Well, it was that I was doing anything wrong. I thought you were overacting, and I I was a child and a bit of a sheltered one at that, truthfully. So I didn't know the signs predator. Predator was not in my mind. I knew what was happening was inappropriate, but I didn't think it was too much to handle. And I felt like if you guys had moved forward and did the steps that you wanted to, that his children would be in danger in the wrong hands. And of course, this is all based off of things he told me. He made me think that if anyone separated him from the children, that they would be in a bad environment, and that I feel bad for them.
So all of this, he was actually putting all this responsibility on you. So it was up to you
Correct.
to keep the relationship a secret. It was up to you to make sure that nothing bad happened to his children. It was up to you to make sure that your dad didn't kill him. Is that correct?
Correct.
Find out and then go to jail, right? It was all up to you. He put all that responsibility
Right.
on you, which is what happens when people are grooming. Now we're going to move fast forward a little bit because the significance of what it is that we're sharing includes revictimization. So now that you've felt what it was like to be intimate with someone, this older gentleman, this older man, this predator, now you're believing that now you're a little older and you can be alone now with males. And then it happens with someone else who's close to the family, someone else who was trusted, someone else who was trusted in the church, correct?
Correct.
And unexpected,
He was my boyfriend.
okay? And of
Right.
course, you trusted your boyfriend.
I did. Yeah.
But this
I thought he would
boyfriend,
look after me.
Okay. So you expected him to be your protector.
I did.
And then when he wanted to go further with you and you said no and
Mhm.
he wouldn't stop.
No was not the answer he wanted to hear. So he fought me.
Now, there in that situation, what did you want to now at any point tell about any of your experiences?
I did not. I didn't want to be. I felt like you guys were kind of gonna lock me up, kind of thing. Never let me out or do it if I told you. So I was protecting my freedom.
So even though you
I didn't want to say
experienced
anything.
these, these were abnormalities. This wasn't normal, but you wanted to be normal. It sounds like, and you thought that this would
Some
keep you
kind
from
of
doing that.
normalcy. Right. Just some kind of normalcy. Because nothing about my childhood was normal. Uh, but some level of normalcy is what I wanted. And I felt looking forward, then he wasn't the only one that was going to pay for it.
What do you mean?
I felt like it would result in me being down, that I wouldn't be allowed to go anywhere or do anything in an effort to protect me.
Now, at any point did you share these assaults with anyone?
I didn't tell anybody. I
Okay.
couldn't risk it.
Did you want to tell anyone?
Absolutely. I just
Okay.
didn't trust anybody.
Okay. Now, so this was your boyfriend, and then this you've experienced this. It started at the age of 14. How old were you at that time?
16,
Okay. And then following that, how old were you the next time that it happened?
18.
Okay. And how was this person, this predator, related to you?
Boyfriend.
Okay.
Um, very.
And there is no sound. Can you repeat
No.
your? Can you say that
I
again?
said he was. I said he was a boyfriend. So it's a bigger age gap, but he's another boyfriend.
Okay. All right. Now, this, if I recall, this is one that you did talk about and share.
I didn't share it until later.
Okay.
I was an adult before I opened my mouth about that.
Okay. Which many people consider themselves adults when they're 18 anyway. So this was your
Oh no,
boyfriend.
I mean like I was 21.
Okay. And so this was the third time. This is your boyfriend. You were over there. You were alone. And then the next time you said it was, so this is actually third, fourth time. And then it happened again. How old were you then?
24, 20, about 24.
Okay. And what was the situation in that?
I just somebody else, and he had a condition. He was bipolar. And this particular evening, he said to me, and I didn't know why. I had to fight for my life that night, and actually ended up getting arrested. Yeah.
And why did you get arrested?
because they thought that he had more severe marks on him than I did on me. I up his arms when he found out I called the police.
Okay. So in this particular situation, now you've experienced more. Now you're fighting back. Now you say, no, I'm not taking this. You're fighting back, and then you get arrested. So you're probably feeling that life really isn't fair right now. You're not trusting. You're not
Right.
trusting anyone. You're not trusting authority. So, I mean, what happened after you got arrested? What were you arrested for, by the way? Share with people.
Uh, it was they called it a domestic dispute, assault. I don't remember the full thing. It got on the stand. He said, "I don't recall." So it was dismissed.
Wow. So you're the victim here, and in so many situations, the one who is victimized is made to feel guilty, and yours went all the way extreme, where you're actually getting arrested.
That's right.
Okay, so at this point, you're like you're feeling there's no justice. Who's going to help me? Who can I talk to? Now, around this time, did is this around when you first reached out to someone outside of your family for help or support?
I did not.
Okay. Not until after the last time, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Actually, second to the last time.
Okay. So what happened when you actually reached out for help?
This particular time was somebody I didn't know. Um, I actually was not going to say anything. Um, but my ex was watching the children, going to what I thought was supposed to be a meeting. It turned into something else entirely. Um, I fought then too, which was obvious. I had marks on me. Um, I was not strong enough to overpower him to get out, so I had until he fell asleep to get up. I got home. Um, the my children's father was there. He had fallen asleep, and he's like, "What happened?" I was like, "Leave me alone, please. I just want to go to sleep." So left me alone. I went. I got up. He's sitting there next to me. He's like, "You need to call your sister
Hmm.
because she worked for."
She worked what?
And I didn't want to call. She worked for a hospital that I went to.
Okay.
So, so he thought a good idea if I reached out to her, and I did not want to. So he got the phone, made the call, and handed it to me.
Mm.
So I asked her to meet me at the hospital, and I told her, and I believe she's the one that contacted my dad.
Okay. Okay. And so this is going on and it's mounting, and now you're at the hospital. What happens while you're at the hospital? So many people who've experienced these assaults and find themselves there now because there's damage that's done. You're traumatized mentally as well as physically. Uh, can you just let people know what it was like being examined because of that?
Oh gosh, it was like feeling the trauma over again because they were invading me while they're trying to dance. And I felt violated. I knew they had to do what they were doing. It was not by myself. I did have support.
What did they do?
They examined me, talked to me to get evidence, DNA, and things like that. And an advocate before they started. So I had my sister.
You had a what?
I had an advocate. I had my sister.
Your advocate and your sister. Okay. Now, was there a male doctor or was it a female doctor?
It was a male doctor
Okay.
with a nurse.
Okay. Did that have any impact on you at all?
It did. I broke down. Um, uh, and I had to give information to a cop.
Mm-hmm.
A detective came in and I explained to her what happened. And I was hoping that all the stuff I put myself through would result in an arrest.
Mm. So right now you're believing out of everything that you've experienced, maybe just this time there could be some vindication. There could be some justice. There's
Right.
something that's going to happen. And what did you hear from somebody next regarding this particular situation?
I given them all the information. I had to find a picture of him. Gave them information about where he lived. It was a long time before I heard anything about them arresting him. And when it finally happened, he was released. I said it's a he said, she said, and my marks and things that I had enough to prove. It wasn't enough proof to lead to a conviction. So I was granted a restraining order, and that was it.
Okay. Well, now, unlike before, now you've told some people. Now they know what happened. What type of support did you get?
I got a lot of support. They had a program that allowed me to get free legal representation. That was through CASE, CAASE in Chicago. And then I had what's called Resilience now. They're the one free counseling. I had an advocate that came with me when I had to go to court. And of course, I had the support of my family. More to me than anything.
Aw.
Thank you.
Isn't that
Evelyn.
encouraging? I'm proud of you. And I wonder why are you proud of her? I wish she could be on here. And so many people are. But why do you think Evelyn or anyone would be proud of you, Asia?
Well, Evelyn in
let me,
particular,
okay.
I know that she understands how hard this is because she went through. So I tell people this stuff, especially if you blame yourself for a lot of what you've already been through.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. You think the person you have to learn how to forgive is the one that did it, but we learn to forgive ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Right. And so many don't speak up. And we want to speak to that before we go,
Hmm.
further. Let's speak to that. Why is it now what you've experienced? I mean, just your experience, and then now you got arrested after you were assaulted. Why do you think so many women and even men that experience don't speak up earlier? What was keeping you from speaking up earlier? And if you could have, if you could speak to the younger Asia now, what would you tell her that she should do?
Well, the younger Asia, I'd say that the first one, the 14-year-old, then to learn what was happened, what was going on, and what it meant. Because if I understood those things earlier on, maybe I wouldn't have made the same mistakes later. I mean, there's a couple of things I just wouldn't have seen coming regardless. Um, but I think I could have made better decisions. One of the reasons, now I'm going to say it happened to me again afterwards. In that situation, I was with someone else that I trusted, but
Mm.
this time I was drugged. So
You were
I
drugged.
don't even know if I was drugged. I don't even know everything that happened. Um, so I did not. I spoke up. I went to go get examined, but when I found out that whatever was in my system, I had already thrown so much that it was out of my system. Because
Mm.
I did wait a little because I was so sick. I couldn't manage to get myself to the hospital. And my mom, uh, by the time I made it to the hospital, it was no longer in my system. I knew this person had money,
Mm.
um, and I know he would fight me. And I was not willing to allow myself to be dragged through the mud like I know they would have. So I dropped it.
Yeah. So, out of all of your experience now, you don't even trust the authorities. You don't trust that there will be any justice at all.
I don't. I tried it,
Mm-hmm.
and take me through all kinds of stuff. And for them to say it's a he say, she say, there was evidence that I was abused.
Mm-hmm.
What's the point?
Mm. And so, do you think that that has a lot to do with why so many people won't come forward? Is that they believe that they're going to be victimized again and that they're not going to be believed? Or even if they're believed,
Absolutely.
that nothing's going to happen?
Absolutely. I had that last time that it happened, the situation where I was drugged, trying so hard to get me to, you
To
can't
what?
promise me. She was trying to get me to press charges.
Okay.
I can't promise me that there will be a conviction.
Mm.
I said, so then what? Who's going to pick up the broken pieces? Because he will do his best to then.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't have anything for me. She said, please let me help you. And I said, I don't want this. So I
So do
went
you?
home.
Okay. So do you think that so many perpetrators now, so many predators, are doing what they're doing over and over and over again because they're not being brought to justice?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a very broken system.
Mm-hmm.
I understand why they're hesitant. It's easy for people to bring false accusations. At the same time, You have people that are straight traumatized, and it affects us for life. And
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing that we can do except, get counseling and support and try to make it one day at a time, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And also, we've also noticed that there are a number of people now doing studies. And just as Evelyn indicated, yeah, a cycle of trauma. They're doing studies now, especially with people who have been re-victimized, and finding
Right.
that a result of that is that they're having trouble with relationships. Did you find that it impacted you or affected your ability to be intimate, even in your marriage?
Um, at first there was hesitation.
Hesitation in
However,
what?
in opening myself up
Are you talking
to
about
affection,
emotionally or physically, or what do you mean?
both, just at all.
Mm,
I feel like with I'm married to, God sent to me,
mm,
because He did everything that He needed to do to get me to trust Him and open up to Him, believe that He was going to be, going to be, and
mm.
that's what He's been. He's a good man, and I'm comfortable with Him. I trust Him. And like I said earlier, that's the only healthy relationship I've had.
Well, right. And now, just now, um, our producer posted a comment by Felix, and he's so sorry that you went through this stuff. Now, I'm just gonna go out here on a limb
Thanks,
and believe that
Felix.
Felix is a male, right? And all of your experiences
Felix
have been
as
at the hands
well.
of a male. And how do you feel about Felix expressing being sorry for what you went through? Is that in any way
Um,
comforting or
it is comforting,
why
and I
is that?
actually know him.
Okay.
Um, yeah, he's a gentle soul. He's
Okay.
fun. It's comforting because not everybody feels that I'm the victim, or that you know that I didn't deserve what I got, and I know this. Who I was talking to, went on a couple of dates with, he told me that I deserved what I got.
Wait a minute.
That I
Hold it. Wait. Let's make sure we get this out because you're kind of breaking up now. Say that again.
I said I actually had someone tell me that I deserved what I got, and that I placed myself in those situations. So not everybody feels sorry for me. So yeah, it's comforting to hear somebody understand that this is not okay.
Okay. So for the ignorant knuckleheads in this world who believe that anyone deserves to get raped, I just pray that it doesn't happen to somebody that you love or to you. Because these predators are not necessarily all going after just women. So no one deserves to get sexually assaulted. And you should be ashamed of yourself. Not that you're going to hear this, but no one deserves to be sexually assaulted. That's just about the stupidest thing somebody could say. Let me compose myself. Get more. That was stupid. Goodness gracious. Okay. Right? Okay, I'm. Goodness. I, mm, anyway, there it is. There's no way.
Mhm.
When even, listen, What people need to understand is you may be sexually assaulted, but you want to live a normal life. You don't want to feel like everyone is a suspect. That's no way to live. And at the same time, you're trying to get
Exactly.
over it. You're trying to you want to forgive if you can, but you want some normalcy. Can you really understand that? You don't want to continuously feel like you're about to be a victim again. And this is one of the things. There are many people who haven't come forth who've experienced things. Some people just give in to the point that they're not able to say that they were sexually assaulted. But they weren't willing at first, but still lent their bodies to be used by someone else. So the purpose of this program is to educate people, bring awareness, and maybe even help people to have compassion. Once you were able to share this with someone, Asia, did that help you?
It did. It did help me. One, I found out that I was not alone. I found out that I was that person and that it wasn't my fault.
Mm.
That that really helped because I beat myself up every day. And I didn't know what was wrong with me.
And now you know there's
You
nothing wrong
know,
with you. There's
right?
something wrong
I
with
know it wasn't
them.
my fault.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
That's right.
And as my daughter, I want you to know that is not your fault. And nobody in the family thinks it's your fault. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Okay. And yes, thank you for your encouragement, Felix. That was wonderful. God bless you. And your other beautiful friend, Evelyn. That let's just talk to some parents now. Because as we said, it started young, but it was someone who was grooming. It was someone who some evil person who kind of weaved their way into your family through the church. What do you think that parents could do to help protect their children better? You can't be with your children 24/7, but what do you think your parents could do to help? If you could speak, like, say, to Asia's parents after this happened.
I think that we have to learn how to create that open door and conversation. Um, I had not because you guys were abusive or anything, but because I thought you would overreact. Um, I, I understood that if I came to you, that I would be, you know, embraced and everything would be okay. That conversation you would have been able to take proper steps to protect me. I prevented you from doing that, and so I feel like it's good to have nice, firm discipline. I think there should be many sit downs. You know, create safe zones. Say,
Mm.
sit down and talk. Anything you say to me is now in the safe zone. There are no consequences. Anything to me. Let's talk. I
Let's
think that
talk,
will really help.
and then sit
Right.
back and listen and not react.
Right.
All
Right.
right.
Exactly.
And that's one of the
Right.
hardest things.
Right. It is. I remember you did that with me, uh, and let's talk. And you did indicate to me you felt something had happened, but for sure, but you felt that you knew, and but you made me feel comfortable with talking to you at that point. So I let loose and I spoke. You know, I wish that I
You wish that you what?
trusted you sooner.
Mm. Yeah. And I can't say that I would have been mature enough to not overreact at that time. I've grown some, you know, I've learned some things. But back then, I might have gone to the Lorena Bobbitt School of Vindication. You know what I mean?
Oh no.
For those of you who don't know who Lorena Bobbitt is, you look it up. I'm just saying. Might want to go to that, take some lessons right there. But you know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is that I'm better. I'm better now. And we do
Right.
have to be, I mean, the instinct is just like you said, protector. And you feel like me as your parent, when I first learned about what was happening, I was wondering how I failed you, how I failed my children, how if anybody should have known, I should have known, and I should have responded. I should have dug. I should have probed. I should have whatever. And it's hard to be the parent of a child that's been assaulted and not blame yourself for one time. But when you then find out that this is something that's reoccurred, revictimization, it is so hard not to blame yourself. It was so hard for me not to blame me. And looking at God, we're in the church, active in the church, active spiritually, helping people, baptized, really believing in the Lord, and saying, God, why did you let this happen? Now, I'm not saying that I have the answers, but what I do see is that even though it happened, you never lost your faith. You
Oh
never
no.
blamed the world. You didn't blame everybody. You didn't go into this self-pity mode either. And I know without a doubt that that's God in you. And that
Absolutely.
you would be able to encourage other people who experience that. So, how are you
That
able
is
to
what I want
then?
to do.
I'm sorry?
I said that's what I want to do.
So, where so what has helped you to have this strength, this ability to do the Pure Live, to help other people who have struggled through uh, tragedy and trying to turn it into triumph? What allows you to put yourself out there?
So first and foremost, it's my relationship with God is absolutely my relationship with God. My faith is strong, and because I don't feel like God ever left me, you know, myself with whatever it is that I dealt with. Then second to that has been my relationship with family. I got a powerhouse family. I'm blessed. I've had a lot of support and love. Um, so that is what really helped me stay strong. And then even more recently, my husband has. He recognizes when I'm struggling, when I'm having a bad day, or if I'm having nightmares or whatever may be happening, and he knows just what to do. So really, I've been blessed all the way around. I feel like I had to be the, God called me to do something. He knew what system I would need to be able to accomplish it. Even the song that I wrote that is the intro to the show, March
March on.
On.
Yes.
I didn't
We have.
take the time to think about it. It just came to me.
Mm. And listen, everybody, if you haven't heard it, that you should go. It is on Spotify, right, Asia? Under Asia Jamal, March
It's on
on.
Spotify. Yeah,
Get
it's on
it.
Spotify, it's on Amazon, it's on everywhere you can stream music. It's
That's a testimony right there. And this is produced by her brother, who's also singing
Elijah
part,
Jamal.
Elijah Jamal. You have to get it's
That's
called
right.
March On. You put it on there, you should be able to get it on her website, asiajamal.com, right? And that should be placed very soon. All right, as soon as your producers get on their job. So give us 1 week. Other than that, find it on Spotify. But okay, so you've gone through this journey. And there's so much more to the story than what we've shared so far, and we only have like about 4 minutes,
Mhm.
um, just a few minutes to
Right.
wrap this up. But I just want to share that some of the challenges that you've had included and has been including chronic illness, being hospitalized repeatedly.
Mhm.
These are some of the things that you could look out for in your children. If you see that your children are sick over and over again and they seem to be
Mhm.
despondent or withdrawn, maybe you should give them that safe space, have a conversation with them. And if you do, understand it's more important that you comfort them and reaffirm them than you get revenge on the person that was the predator. Does that make sense? How do you
It
feel
does make
about that?
sense. I agree with that. That the person that's going through is the so before you go out for vengeance, help that individual that's going through what they're going through. Get them counseling. Get them. When I was with my doctor, he was like, "I think we need to sit down and talk," because I was waiting what I was going through and having those health problems, and we concluded that I was. So when I talked to him and let him know all the things I went through, we knew a better path to go.
So you said you concluded that what? I'm sorry, that broke off.
That I was an overload of stress.
Mm,
So that's what it was. And he asked what happened, what kind of thing was I dealing with, and we knew there was another route that we needed to go.
mm-hmm. So that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
So often parents, when their children are struggling and everything, they're just talking about, they just say they're bad and um, they're promiscuous or, just labeling the children, not realizing that there was some trauma that led to the behaviors that you're seeing. So we're
Right.
just asking people to be a little more considerate and try to search for what's going on. Evelyn says that you're so humble and meek. Blessed are the meek; they will inherit the earth. And you are right. She is. She is
Thank
very
you.
humble, very meek, and very. I mean, she's just a wonderful person. Very forgiving. What you see is what you get. This is Asia all day.
This is
And,
true.
and that's what I'm saying
Fact.
is she amazes me. I'm saying I'll be like Asia when I grow up. And yes, yes. If we
Thank
get
you.
ready, have a temper. I'm like, what would Asia do? But anyway, everybody, thank you so much for joining us and being encouraging. Asia, this has really been a blessing for me to, as your mother, to help you to share your story. We might have to do it again and work on our technical because we missed some of the words going through. But I believe that for the most part, people got the message and got the meaning and got the sentiment behind it. What are some last words that you'd like to say to your listeners and supporters?
Well, one of the things that I normally close off with, remember God's perfect design, which is remember to embrace God's perfect design, which is you right now, because it ties into what we're saying. Whatever it is that you've gone through, dealt with, doesn't mean that you're broken or that you're not right or you're not what you should be or what you're supposed to be. You're making mistakes, making you. So,
Mm,
just seek his face, and he to go through and get you to where you need to get to.
All right.
And it's our last show until after the holiday, till after the new year, and I will be back.
Yes, Lord willing. Everybody, God bless you all. Thank you so much for being with us, and join us again on Pure Live.
Night, everybody.
We'll talk to you soon.